New York City is one of the toughest places for new graduate nurses to get hired in their first role. And why is it? Because New York is one of the best cities in the world. Who doesn't want to be in New York, right? But it's also one of the toughest cities to work in. And I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. But what most people won't tell you, it's probably the best city to start your nursing career. Why? Because if you can make it in New York, baby, you can make it anywhere. So watch till the end because I'm going to share 5 tips that will get you hired in New York City. And of course, in New York, you're going to get exposure to high acuity patients. You're going to see trauma, level 1 trauma cases. You might see celebrities and world-class teaching hospitals such as New York Presbyterian, Mount Sinai, Northwell, and of course, the #1 hospital in the nation, NYU. I actually used to work at NYU and many of the hospitals that I've named, and I was also a travel nurse in the ER. So one place that I know is New York City. So make sure you watch till the end because I'm gonna reveal the one costly mistake that most nurses make that can cost you your shot at a New York City nurse residency program. So let's get into it. Let's go. Number 1, you have to master the trauma town mentality, that fast-paced mentality and environment. Because New York City, it's not a city that's about BS, right? We don't take BS in New York. It's all about being fast, being active, being proactive. So New York City hospitals are looking for people who are proactive and who are quick. You need to be comfortable with chaotic environments and have the ability to critically think and be calm under pressure. So how do you position yourself for this, right? Highlight any fast-paced environment that you were in. Let's say you had a clinical rotation in the ER. That would be a great thing to bring up. Or maybe outside of healthcare, if you had maybe a retail job, fast food, maybe you're a bartender, you're going to highlight how customer service, dealing with large volumes of people, was very easy for you to do in your past positions. Use language like high volume, fast paced, critical thinking, rapid triage, things like that. And of course, talk about patient experience and how you're very comfortable giving a really good patient experience, which is essentially good customer service. So one example you can use is, hey, I managed high volume customer interactions in a fast-paced environment, prioritizing urgent requests while maintaining quality service. Sounds pretty good, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, network before you apply. So you can network virtually online, or if you're in the surrounding area, like maybe Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or wherever you are, if you happen to come to New York, make sure that you're networking, you're going to events. Of course, New York is famous for having so many different events, but make sure you strategically go to nursing events, job fairs, conferences, those types of things. And the reason why you should network is because your resume can easily get lost in the system, so you have to be able to stand out. Networking is one of those things. And of course, leveraging LinkedIn to network. And NYC is about who sees you before the computer does, right? They want you to have a human interaction and be really good with that interaction. And the strategy on LinkedIn is you can start looking for nurse residency coordinators, hiring managers, or specific nurse recruiters on LinkedIn. And then send value type messages in advance. Send a voice note in the DMs. Send an actual video in the DMs. This will help you stand out, not just your resume. Please do not post your resume on LinkedIn. That's one of my pet peeves. I hate when people do that. It's not a good look. Just comes off, it's giving like desperate energy. Don't do that. And then leverage your clinical instructors, professors, people that you know, because many of these people might have really good connections in the hospital system or other facilities that they can connect you with, or they themselves might be managers or directors in large health systems. My client, Jessica, really wanted to work in L&D. She was a new grad in New York City. They told her she couldn't get L&D right out of school. And I was like, don't listen to that. She was about to settle for med-surg, but we weren't having that. I said, let's work together. We're going to get you in L&D. So she actually got hired in Long Island at Northwell. And then she came to me a second time and we got her second position in L&D at Cornell, which is New York Presbyterian. You don't have to settle for less. You can get exactly what you want. You can get the city you want, which is New York City. You can get the hospital system you want and the preferred specialty. That's what my clients get. And this is what I teach in my new Nurse to Dream Role webinar. You should join. The link is in the description box below. My clients are getting jobs in less than 90 days in the New York City area and places like San Francisco as well. So in that live training, I talk about my BOLD framework, which has helped over 200 nurses land their dream role in these big cities. And some people are just landing roles just by watching my content and just by coming to my webinar. Click that webinar and register, because once it gets filled, that's it, it's full, and you'll have to wait for the next one. Number 3, know your worth. NYC, if that's the standard, right? You need to know how much you are going to make in this city because it's not cheap to live in. So expect anywhere from 90K to 130K as a base salary. And of course, you can make more if you negotiate, but it depends. If you're gonna be working for a union hospital, you're not gonna make as much because those are set. You also need to take into consideration night differentials, shift pay, weekends, or educational differentials, like if you have your BSN, MSN, things like that. And then later when you actually get eligible to get certifications such as, a certified emergency nurse or whatever it is, most places will give you a little bit more for that. Obviously, NYC is a high cost market. There's a lot of private healthcare systems, so don't be afraid to negotiate and ask for more. Research websites like Indeed and Glassdoor, and those will help you. All right, and then number 4, make sure you bring the energy, bring the confidence, right? Because it's the empire state of mind. You gotta have that mentality, that energy. Recruiters are expecting concise, direct, punchy answers, high confidence, no rambling, get to the point, and something engaging. You need to have a 30 to 60 second power pitch. It's an interview pitch, and I teach my clients this. The tell me about yourself answer. You can answer that in this interview powerful pitch. And you lead with value. Don't recite your resume. Don't introduce yourself saying, hi, my name is Farah. I went to this school and I want to help people. That's all boring stuff. You don't want to do that. You want to be engaging. Start with a statistic or something that's going to disrupt their day, something they're not expecting. And be controversial. Bring up healthcare things. Like if you want to be an L&D, bring up those issues that are happening, such as the public health crisis with Black and brown women are dying 3 to 4 times more likely due to pregnancy-related complications. Starting off your pitch with something like that is gonna get their attention. And at number 5, research the NYC nurse residency programs because they're very competitive. And the one thing that I have to tell you is apply early, because if you don't, this can cost you getting into one of those nurse residency programs because it's so competitive. So make sure that you apply right away and you're the first one to apply. So now that you have the 5 strategies to get your job in New York City, what most nurses don't realize that applying is one thing, but you need to get through the interview. So watch my 5 essential interview tips in the next video to get into these competitive markets.